Yesterday my neighbor comes over and he's got this. And what it is it's a spindle from an old staircase from an old farmhouse that used to somehow be in his family, and they just recently tore the house down. And he actually salvaged 2 of these things. And he wants to make a coffee table. Well, coffee tables generally have 4 legs. So he needs 2 more, like this. The idea is he's going to paint it, so it doesn't really matter what kind of wood. So he says, how would you go about duplicating this? So I said, well, probably what I would do, if I didn't worry about what it was going to look like afterwards, because I was going to paint it, I'd probably buy some cheap clear spruce, if there's such a thing. And then I would laminate it together, and 3 layers will be just right. That is, if you have a 2x6 like this. Now this is not spruce, this is actually pine, almost clear pine. There's knots in certain places that I have to try and work around. And the thinking at first was, where there's a knot right in the middle, well, maybe we could hide that in the middle. But then I was thinking later, yeah, but what if that knot happens to come right here where it's weak? I'm thinking now maybe the knot should be on the outside. It's going to be painted over later anyway. It might make it a little harder to turn, but hey, make it interesting. So I've got to cut out, how many? 6 pieces, just a little longer than this, and laminate them together. And the time to do it is now, before this board starts to twist. Now I don't think it's gonna, because it's extremely light for its size. So it tells me that it's probably pretty well dried out. Anyway, I don't want to be wasting a whole bunch of time on this, but then like I say, I want to get this cut up and glued together so that while I'm working on my clock, which I'm getting really hyped about because it seems to be coming along pretty good, slow but good, yeah, this can be drying up, and after a couple of weeks then I can maybe turn it a little bit and kind of keep them happy. Yeah, so I guess what we're going to call this series is the Spindle. And this is the Spindle Part 1, but don't expect Part 2 for a long time. Anyway, let's see if I can get some pieces cut up here.
I am quite sure that you don't have to have a real vivid imagination to figure out how I cut those. Yeah, nothing spectacular, I just cut them. I'm sure that you will understand when I sort of apologize for not doing too much videoing here, but I got myself really busy gluing here, and I got glue on my fingers too. I didn't want to be messing with the camera. And I was having a little bit of a problem with the pieces sliding around and keeping them, you know, in place there. And I had to run and get my cauls, and it turns out I only had enough cauls for 1 set at a time. So tomorrow, after this first batch is sort of, you know, set in place there, I won't take the clamps off, but I'll be able to use the cauls on the second one. Anyway, we'll take a look at it in a couple of weeks from now, and you know, maybe we'll try and turn it down. I really want to get back to the clock.